Hello, Namaskar. Welcome back to my channel. And this is Rishu, data analyst and the founder of this particular channel. And in this particular video, we will be discussing about the elasticity of demand. We will try to understand the responsiveness to price changes. So let's start with the very first question, that is, what is elasticity of demand? And the definition is a measure of how much the quantity demanded of a good responds to a change in its price. Again, the very same thing, that is the order of how the demand is changing with change in its price, which is also we are saying as price sensitivity. And if you remember the formula is percent change in demand by percent change in price. And the key insight is elasticity helps businesses and policymakers understand consumer behaviors. Example, demand of onion. If the price of onion increases by 10%, the demand will decrease by 15%. So there will be elasticity and it will be minus 15% because it is a decrease. That's why there is a minus sign, divided by plus 10% because this is a increase, which results at minus 1.5, which indicates that there is a elastic demand. So how I am saying that it indicates that there is elastic demand? So there are some criteria. There are some types of elasticity. The very first type is elastic demand, where the mod of E will be greater than 1, which represents that quantity demanded changes more than price demanded. Price changes. Example, luxury goods. Right? That the demand changes more then the price changes. Then comes the inelastic demand, where mod of E less than 1, which means that quantity demanded changes less than the price changes. Example, necessities. And there is third thing, that is when mod of E equals to 1, which is known as unitary elastic demand, where quantity demanded changes exactly in the proportion of the price changes. Example, some consumer electronics. So let's see the step-by-step calculation. So how we will calculate the elasticity? So the very first step is identify initial and new price and the quantities. When you will able to identify these three things, then you have to calculate the percentages. And how you will calculate the percentage? So first thing you have to calculate is the quantity, percentage of quantity change, which will be Q new, that is quantity new, minus quantity old divided by quantity old into 100. Similarly, you will find out the percent change in price, which is price new minus price old divided by price old into 100. So now we have two percentages. Now plug this into elasticity formula, which is percent change divided by percent change in demand divided by percent change in price. Let's see an example. Let's say demand for tomatoes. So initial price was 40 rupees per kg, and the now new price is 60 rupees per kg. So initial qualities, when we had 40 rupees per kg, we used to sell 1000 kgs. And after we did changes to price, that is 60 rupees per kg, the new quantity is 700 kg. So what will be the elasticity? How we will calculate? So first we have to calculate the percent change in demand. that is 700, which is new demand, minus 1000, which is old demand, divided by 1000, that is old demand, into 100, which will equals to minus 30%. Similarly, the price changes 60, which is the new price, and 40, which is the old price, divided by 40 into 100, it is around 50%. Now we have this two percentages, plug it into the elasticity formula, that is percent change in demand divided by percent change in price, and it comes to 0.6, which indicates that, and if we do the mod of this, it is less than 1, which is showing us that the demand is inelastic. Now, what do elasticity values means? So again, if greater than 1, it will be elastic, which means that consumers are highly responsible to price changes. Example, air travel during off-peak seasons. When we say demand is inelastic, then we mean that consumers are less responsive to price changes. That changing the price does not change much of demand. Example, life-saving drugs. Then the third, that is unitary elastic demand, which says that the consumer responds proportionally to price changes. Example, some mid-range electronics. Now, there is good to know thing is that perfectly elastic. When we say perfectly elastic, means elasticity can be infinity. That is horizontal demand curve. And the inelastic, perfectly inelastic will be where elasticity is 0. That is vertical demand. Visualizing these, elastic demand is basically flatter curve. Inelastic demand will be steeper curve, and unitary elastic demand will be linear slope, that is it is minus 1. Example, demand for movie tickets will be elastic. Demand for insulin, that will be inelastic. So on the curve, how it will look? So we have y-axis with price and x-axis with quantity. So this curve will represent elasticity, elastic curve. Now this curve, it represents the inelastic because the curve is steeper. And the third is this green line, which represents the unitary demand. Makes sense, right? So what are the key takeaways? Elasticity measures how demand responds to price changes. There are three types of elasticity: elastic, inelastic, and unitary elastic. Calculation involves percentage changes in price and quantity. Practical applications can be pricing strategies for business, government policies, and consumer decision making. Good to know thing is that perfectly elastic and inelastic demands are theoretical extremities. There is nothing which is perfectly elastic or inelastic. Elasticities varies across products and market. I hope you understand this. Thank you.